This is part 2, you guys. If you haven't checked out part 1, make sure you do that first. The link is in the description below, or just hit the thumbnail and enjoy. Let's talk about your industry in a nutshell. Why do most businesses like this fail? Is there a product that has a higher profit margin, a product that has a lower one? Do you have a machine that literally prints money on demand?
I would say this thing right here.
How come?
Is the most no-brainer money maker for sure.
What's the secret to getting a lot of repeat customers and referral clients, people that talk about you all the time? Talk about how long it took you to break even when you got into this business. For audiences that want to start an embroidery printing business, what can you share with them? What's your advice? A couple things.
Yeah, definitely I would say get a good bookkeeper. That's a really tough one to kind of figure out. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow, the expenses, but it's definitely worth it. So it took us 10 years to figure that out, and we're finally getting through that, and I feel good about that.
Okay.
The other thing is definitely going to be don't bite off more than you can chew. Like, really pick the right projects to take on. It's really easy to get stars in your eyes when you see something come along that looks like you're going to make money on it because it has a high dollar value tied to it. But at the end of the day,
that's the hard stuff.
Yeah, that's the tough one. So, I would say that that's probably where you see most small print shops kind of failing.
So you mentioned something really important. In any business, you can grab too much and not be good at anything. What You're talking about is focus on one thing. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I always like to say, and I didn't coin this phrase, but go an inch wide and a mile deep in your niche. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to be the cheapest and compete with everybody on price, maybe be the specialist. You know what I mean? Try to figure out, hey, what are my competitors doing? What are they good at? How can I work alongside them, but also in my own unique way?
What's the secret to getting a lot of repeat customers and referral clients, people that talk about you all the time? What's the secrets and tips that you can share with us?
I think one important thing is having a strong social media presence yourself.
Okay.
Because your customers are going to want to, it's kind of a collaborative thing where they want to take advantage of your presence, right? So something we'll do a lot is when we feel good about a project, we know the customer's really happy, we take a picture of it and we ask them hey dude, can we put this on our Instagram and tag you? And then 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, totally. And then they'll screenshot it and put it on their Instagram, right, to promote it. And as long as you get a good picture, or, it works in reverse.
Right.
You follow them, somebody hits you up, you get an invoice from them, go follow them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and then look for that product to appear and then grab it and post it, share it on yours. And that kind of creates, just kind of a buzz around it, you know what I mean? And,
right.
And then their followers are like, oh, cool, Foundry, that's the tattoo shop I got my tattoos in, and my cousin owns a tattoo shop, so I'm going to recommend this to him,
Let's talk about your industry in a nutshell. Why do most businesses like this fail? 1, 2, 3, 4 things that come to mind with your experience.
Yeah, okay. I would say that, you got to look at it practically of where do I need to invest the money in the equipment to grow my business? And where do I need to kind of bootstrap to grow my business? You know what I mean? I think Kara calls it calculated risk. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, hey, if I spend $60,000, $80,000 on a piece of equipment, how long is it going to be before I can use that at its full potential? Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of people will either just go and buy a bunch of gear and they can't really generate the business to pay for that, and that'll get them. Another thing is that people will manually print, the hard way, and it's slow and you can do that for about 4 or 5 years, but after a while, your body just can't handle that. And so it's about knowing when to grow and when to just put in the sweat equity, to keep it going. I would say that's one. The other thing is that a lot of people that get into screen printing and embroidery are typically artists and creatives, which I think typically are not the most business savvy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of acknowledging that about yourself and knowing to seek help for the things that you're not good at.
Right.
For a long time, I tried to do the books, or I tried to, be the HR guy, which it's
not your role.
It's not my role, right? Once I figured out, you know what, dude, I'm the creative guy. I'm the person that can get down and dirty on cleaning screens and setting up screens and working hard. And if I focus on that, I can make enough money doing that to pay people to do all of these things that I'm not good at.
Do you have a machine that literally prints money on demand?
I would say this thing right here.
How come?
Is the most no-brainer money maker for sure. It's cool because this is just a digital printer, so there's really no like, doesn't take a lot of skill to learn how to use it. Right now, it prints on vinyl, and then right now it's going and cutting them out, so you can see that making a sticker.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Look at that, guys.
Yeah, just prints the vinyl, and then we use this vinyl in like lots of different applications, like banners, car stickers, and stuff like that. Really easy upsell for a screen printer because you're like, hey, dude, your art's sick. How about you add 100 stickers to this project?
Nice.
You're already handling their art. You're already dealing with the customer. You're already creating a transaction. Really easy to upsell. Really reliable. I mean, everything about this. I can't say enough good things about this thing. I love this printer.
Doesn't need a lot of attention and hands-on all the time.
It's plug and play, dude. It's great. It's like, there's so many different tools in a print shop that like the vendor's like, oh, dude, you just plug it in and start making money. This is the only thing that's really proven to do any of that, anything close to that, right?
Talk about how long it took you to break even when you got into this business 10, 11 years ago.
Ooh.
What did it take for you?
Probably 10 years.
Whoa, that's scary.
No.
What kept you going for 10 years and
No,
not breaking
I mean,
even?
you know, I think break even is a hard thing to define. You know what I mean? Because I guess if you're like, hey, when am I going to make my initial investment back? You know, like that could be 2 years. But I feel like, you know, if you look at your break even, like, oh, what are the things that my business owns? Like, well, you know, the equipment or, you know, the relationships and all of those things. I mean, for sure, this business is worth more than I ever imagined it being. You know? So I would say that's hard to define, but I would think that if you were good at this, you could probably do that in 2.5 to 3 years.
Is there a product that has a higher profit margin, a product that has a lower one?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I feel like just the T-shirt is really competitive. You know what I mean? I feel like when people come to you with like a price in their mind, it's usually based on T-shirts. So that can be really competitive. Whereas like jackets, you know, we print a lot of like technical materials, which a lot of screen printers don't, and hoodies and fleece and stuff like that. It's such a broader range of what the customer expectations are on price that you can usually get a little bit more margin out of stuff like that. And because we're in the Northwest, we're really, we've done so much outerwear printing and so much handling of like outerwear and those type of garments that I feel like we have the process pretty tight. So it's easier for us to be like, yeah, you know, we can match that price but make more money than our competitor because they have less experience handling these type of garments. Yeah, this is the big one right here. A little bit more sophisticated in the drives for the heads and so on. It's just a little bit more heavy lifting on this one. And
more volume?
Yeah, more volume. But I try to think of it like this is your like Cadillac and that's like your little sports car.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want to set up, go somewhere fast in a short period, you can use that. If you really want to go like the long haul, this is what this thing's good for. It's a little bit more time to set up. But it'll just, yeah. I mean, we've had days where we've run this thing 14 hours straight, and it just doesn't even phase it.
What does it run on? It uses power and then compressor air?
Power and pneumatics, yep.
Okay.
So the print heads are run by servo motors that are electric, and then all the other like carousel movements like this are done pneumatically. So we can actually show you guys how that looks. Yeah. So this thing just.
You gotta kind of keep away from it when it's doing its job.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the first things that, like, for every employee, I'm like, dude, this zone right here, just do not, just never, not even when it's turned off, just don't step into this zone. It'll get you. And I'll show you this right here. This is kind of cool. So these right here are the flashes. So this thing right here has a quartz bulb in it that pre-cures between screens.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So if you say you have like a 2-3 color, you print one color there, this kind of cures that color before it goes on to the next screen and so on.
That's important.
Yeah, definitely gotta have a couple of these. These ones are really nice because they heat up really fast and they cool down really fast. So you don't have to deal with a lot of heat adjusting your chemistry.
Any last tips or tricks for our audience as far as hiring, managing staff?
I would say that the most important thing is set the standard yourself. Be the gold standard yourself. That's why a lot of these businesses don't really work out. So I think the people that start them get into them and they're like, oh, well, I'll just work hard until I can get somebody else to do it. And they think that, you know, after a year or two, they're like, oh, I'm going to hire somebody to do all the work for me. And then that person, you can't either pay them enough or they're not the owner of the business. You know what I mean? They're not passionate about it like you are. But if you're in there, you're setting the standard for what hard work looks like every day. Everybody that works for you is like, okay, dude, I see Forrest being rewarded. I see him rewarding us, and I see him like setting that standard for what needs to be done in the day. I want to match that so I can continue to grow with him.
Right. What's in store for the Foundry in the future? Anything exciting?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're really trying to build into is get back into making our own clothing line. Kind of a big, it was a big part of like how we started. So that, and then also getting more into direct to consumer. There's a lot more margin there. It's a little bit more work, but with sophistication, you can find ways to streamline that sale and make a little bit more money and diversify a little bit,
Yep.
So.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Any last words of advice for our viewers looking to get into this, what I think can be sometimes difficult industry?
Yeah, I would say, be realistic with yourself at first. Understand that it takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of getting up early and going to bed late. But like anything, especially for me, where it's like you get to kind of have the hard work and get your hands dirty, but it's also a creative outlet and a great place to meet people. And a good opportunity to kind of live your career life the way that you like to. I would say this is the right business for you, for sure.
Awesome. Well, that concludes episode 2. I hope you guys took a lot away from this story, from this business owner and their success. If you haven't subscribed to our channel already, make sure you do that now. Check out all our other videos where we want to inspire you, educate you, and don't forget about our blog. We dive deeper into all these topics so that you can benefit from that. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. That's a wrap today. This thing's heavy.